morning, Hare Krishna. This morning we're starting with a song by Bhakti Thakur named Amara Jivana, and we'll read the translation first. This is a song expressing the mood that comes from the heart of one who is in prema. When one develops pure love for Krishna, there's an equal amount of dainya, or utter humility, that also comes into the heart and mind of the devotee, and this is an expression of that. Was one of the symptoms of bhava mentioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. And Avantika, if you could start the melody to accompany the translation, it will make it more beautiful. My life is always engaged in sinful activities, without a trace of pious activities. I'm always inclined to give great anxiety and trouble to other living entities. For my personal sense gratification, I never reject any kind of sinful activity. I'm not at all merciful, and I see only to my personal interest. When others are suffering, I become very happy. I'm always speaking lies, and if someone is suffering, that is very pleasant to me. I have lots of material desires within my heart, and I am always angry and deceitful. I am captivated by subject matters of sense gratification, and I'm almost crazy. My ornaments are malice and false pride. I'm conquered by sleep and laziness, and I am always averse to pious activities. But I am very enthusiastic to perform impious activities. I always cheat others for my prestige. I am conquered by greed, and I am always lusty. I'm so fallen, I have no association with devotees, and I'm always an offender. In my life, there's not a bit of auspicious activity, and my mind is always attracted by something mischievous. Therefore, at the fag end of my life, I have become almost an invalid because of all such sufferings. Now in my old age, with no alternative, I have by force become very humble and meek. Thus, Bhaktivinoda offers this sad statement of his life's activities at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Avantika, you lead it, please, but come as close to the mic as you can.
Hey. Amara jivana sada papirata nahi ko
Nahi ko punyera lesha.
Amara jivana sada papirata nahi ko punyera lesha.
Amara jivana Sarapapirada nahi ko punyera lesha. Parare udega Diachi je koto Suka lagi papi nahi dori daya hina sarta paro parasuke duki sada mitya bhashi Parasuke duki sada mitya bhashi Parasuka sukakaro Akage ujogi ani Pratishta lagi ya satyacharana lagi ya satya acharana Lobahata sadakani Gobahata Durjana sajana vajita aparirantara
Shubhakaya shunya sadana dhamana
Shubhakaya shunya sadanartamana Shubhakaya shunya sadanartamana Nana dukhe jara jara Nana dukhe jara ISKCON upayalina tatedina akinchana
Bhakti vinoda prabhuracharane
Bhakti vinoda prabhuracharane Bhakti vinoda prabhuracharane Kore dukkha nivedana Kore dukkha Parere udvega diya chije Parere udvega diya chije Diya chije vere klesha Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. And you get to do that Jeev Jago tune to the Prabhupada tune. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole. jago, Jeev jago, Gaura Chandra bole. Kota nidra jao maya pisachira kole. Kota nidra jao maya pisachira kole. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. And now, because we're highly fortunate, we get to read the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, taking up where we left off last time. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Angastam Bharambham Utangayantam Premanandam Daruka Nabhyanandat Kamsarater Vijane Jena Sakshad Akshodiyan Antarayao Vyadai. Translation. Shri Daruka did not relish his ecstatic feelings of love, for they caused his limbs to become stunned and thus obstructed his service of fanning Lord Krishna. This verse is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 3.2.62. Govinda Prekshana Shekta Shepi Bashpa Purva Vivarshanam Uchar Anindad Anandam Aravinda Vilochana. The lotus-eyed Radharani powerfully condemned the ecstatic love that caused a flow of tears that hindered her sight of Govinda. This verse is also from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Arshuddha Bhakta Krishna Prema Seva Vinay Swasukharta Swalokari Nakare Grahane. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Furthermore, pure devotees never forsake the loving service of Lord Krishna to aspire for their own personal pleasure through the 5 kinds of liberation. A pure devotee of Krishna who loves him exclusively will flatly refuse to accept any sort of liberation, beginning from merging with the body of the Lord and extending to the other varieties of liberation, such as equality of form, opulence or abode, and the opulence of living near the Lord. Madguna Shrutimatrena Mai Sarva Guhashaye Manogatir Avichinna Yata Gangam Pasom Budao. Just as the celestial waters of the Ganges flow unobstructed into the ocean, so when my devotees simply hear of me, their minds come to me who reside in the hearts of all. Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Hutaritam Ahaituki Avayahita Ya Bhakti Purushottame. These are the characteristics of transcendental loving service to Purushottam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is causeless and it cannot be obstructed in any way. Salokya sarshti sarupya samipyaikatvam apyuta diyamanam nagrananti vinamad sevanam jana. My devotees do not accept salokya, sarshti, sarupya, samipya, or oneness with me, even if I offer these liberations in preference to serving me. These 3 verses from Srimad Bhagavatam 3:29, 11 through 13 were spoken by Lord Krishna in the form of Kapiladev. Matsevaya pratitam te salokyadi chatushtayam nechante sevaya puna kutonyat kala viplutam. My devotees, having fulfilled their desires by serving me, do not accept the 4 kinds of salvation that are easily earned by such service. Why then should they accept any pleasures that are lost in the course of time? Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.67 was spoken by the Lord in connection with the characteristics of Maharaj Ambarish. Merging into the existence of the Absolute is as temporary as living in the celestial kingdom. Both of them are controlled by time. Neither position is permanent. Kama gandahina swabhavika gopi prema nirmala ujvala shuddha jaina dagda hema. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The natural love of the gopis is devoid of any trace of lust. It is faultless, bright, and pure like molten gold. Krishna Rasahaya Guru Bandhava Prayasi Gopika Hayina Priyashisha Sakidasi. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. The gopis are the helpers, teachers, friends, wives, dear disciples, confidants, and serving maids of Lord Krishna. Sahaya Gurava Shishya Bhujishya Bandhavastriya Satyam Vadami Te Partha Gyopya Kim Me Bhavantina. O Partha, I speak to you the truth. The gopis are my helpers, teachers, disciples, servants, friends, and consorts. I do not know what they are not to me. This verse was spoken by Lord Krishna in the Gopi Premamrita. Gopika Janena Krishna Ramana Ravanchita Prema Seva Paripashi Ishta Samhita. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The gopis know Krishna's desires, and they know how to render perfect loving service for his enjoyment. They perform their service expertly for the satisfaction of their beloved. Man mahatmyam mat saparyam much shraddham man manogatam jananti gopika parta nanye jananti tatvata. O Partha, the gopis know my greatness, my loving service, respect for me, and my mentality. Others cannot really know these. This verse was spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjuna in the Adi Purana. She gopi gana madhya uttamaradhika rupe gune saubhagye prema sarvatika. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Among the gopis, Srimati Radhika is the foremost. She surpasses all in beauty, in good qualities, in good fortune, and above all, in love. Purport: among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most exalted. She is the most beautiful, the most qualified, and, above all, the greatest lover of Krishna. Yata Radha Priya Vishnus Tasya Kundam Priyatata Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnur Atyanta Ballabha. Yata Radha Priya Vishnus Tasya Kunda Priyam Tata Sarva Gopishu Saivaika Vishnur Atyanta Ballabha. Just as Radha is dear to Lord Krishna, so her bathing place, Radha Kunda, is dear to him. She alone is his most beloved of all the gopis. This verse is from the Padma Purana. Trailoke Prithvidanya Yatra Vrindavanam Puri Tatrapi Gopika Partha Yatra Radha Pidamama. O Partha, in all the three planetary systems, this earth is especially fortunate, for on earth is the town of Vrindavan, and there the gopis are especially glorious, because among them is my Srimati Radharani. This verse spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjuna is cited from the Adi Purana. Radha Krishna Krita Rasa Vidhira Karana Arosha Gopi Gana Raso Pakarana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All the other gopis help increase the joy of Krishna's pastimes with Radharani. The gopis act as the instruments of their mutual enjoyment. Purport: it is said that the gopis are divided into 5 groups, namely the Sakis and Nitya Sakis, Prana Sakis, Priya Sakis, and Paramaprishta Sakis. All these fair-complexioned associates of Srimati Radharani, the Queen of Vrindavan Dham, are expert artists in evoking erotic sentiments in Krishna. The Paramaprishta Sakis are 8 in number, and in the ecstatic dealings of Krishna and Radha, they side sometimes with Krishna and at other times with Radharani, just to create a situation in which it appears that they favor one against the other. That makes the exchange of mellows more palatable. Krishna Balaba Radha Krishna Pranadan Tahar Vinu Saku Hetu Nahi Gopigan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha is the beloved consort of Krishna, and she is the wealth of his life. Without her, the gopis cannot give him pleasure. Kam sarir api sangsara vasana pada shrinkalam radham adhaya hridaye tatyaja vraja sundari. Lord Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa, left aside the other gopis during the rasa dance and took Srimati Radharani to his heart, for she is the helper of the Lord in realizing the essence of his desires. In this verse from the Gita Govinda, Jayadev Goswami describes Sri Krishna's leaving the Rasa Leela to search for Srimati Radharani. Shri Radhara Baba Loy Chaitanya Avatar Jugadharma Nam Prema Kaila Pracharar Se Radhara Baba Loya Chaitanya Avatar Jugadharma Nama Prema Kaila Prachar. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya appeared with the sentiment of Radha. He preached the dharma of this age, the chanting of the holy name, and pure love of God. She bhave nija bansha, Kaila Puran, Avatarera e bansha, Mula Karana. In the mood of Srimati Radharani, he also fulfilled his own desires. This is the principal reason for his appearance. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Gosai Rajendra Kumar Rasmaya Murti Krishna Sakshat Shringar. Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya is Krishna, Virjendra Kumar, the embodiment of rasas. He is amorous love personified. She Rasa Asvadite Koila Avatar Anusange Koila Shabrashera Prachar. He made his appearance to taste that conjugal mellow and incidentally to broadcast all the rasas. Swachandam Rajasunirabhitim Pratyangamalingita Shringara Sakimurti Manivamadao Mudgohari Kridati. My dear friends, just see how Sri Krishna is enjoying the season of spring, with the gopis embracing each of his limbs. He is like amorous love personified. With his transcendental pastimes, he enlivens all the gopis and the entire creation. With his soft bluish-black arms and legs, which resemble blue lotus flowers, he has created a festival for Cupid. This is from the Gita Govinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Gosai Rasera Sadhana Ashesha Visheshe Kaila Rasa Asvadan. Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya is the abode of rasa. He himself tasted the sweetness of rasa in endless ways. She Dware Pravartaila Kali Jugadharam Chaitanyara Dase Jane E Shab Maram. Thus he initiated the dharma for the age of Kali. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya know all these truths. Lord Chaitanya is Sri Krishna himself, the absolute enjoyer of the love of the gopis. He himself assumes the role of the gopis to taste the predominated happiness of transcendental mellows. He appeared in that mood, but simultaneously he propagated the religious process for this age in a most fascinating way. Only the confidential devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand this transcendental secret. Advaita Charya, Lord Nityananda, Srivas Pandit, Gadadhar Pandit, Swarup Damodar, Murari Gupta, Haridas Thakur, and all the other devotees of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, bowing down with devotion, I hold their lotus feet on my head. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita teaches us that we must offer our respectful obeisances to all such pure, confidential devotees of Lord Chaitanya, if we indeed want to know him in truth. I have given a hint of the 6th verse. Now please hear as I reveal the meaning of that original verse. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi, as the moon appeared from the ocean. All these conclusions are unfit to disclose in public, but if they are not disclosed, no one will understand them. Therefore I shall mention them, revealing only their essence, so that loving devotees will understand them, but fools will not. Anyone who has captured Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda in his heart will become blissful by hearing all these transcendental conclusions. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki, Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurannidhatam Dina. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we're privileged to hear the intimate reasons for the Lord's appearance in the world. And the mood of selfless service is the key to success, as was mentioned in the narration, the difference between love and lust. Love means that you want to please the senses of the Lord, and lust means you want to please your own senses. And they're just like the difference between iron and gold. And another point or verse that Kaviraj Goswami brought out was Maguna Shruti Matrena Mai Sarvagohashaya Mano Gatir Avichina Yata Gangan Baton Bulon Mursao. Yeah, this verse is spoken by Kapila Dev, and he says that devotional service, which is above the modes of material nature, is evident when these particular qualities are manifest. And that is that one's mind becomes attracted to hearing. And then he says that the quality of that hearing and service is that it's spontaneous. It happens automatically. It's not ruled by the Shastra or by some other rule or regulation that you have to do this at this time or that time. One's mind is spontaneously attracted. And it's without interruption. There's no time at which it becomes boring. And then I want to do something else. I want to go to sleep. The devotee is overwhelmed with desire to continuously hear without stopping. Because Kapila Dev had mentioned the devotional practice when it's still affected by tamas, rajas, and sattva. But when one tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobharayas jaye cheta iter anavidam stitam sattve prasidati means that when one rises above the lower modes of nature, stitam sattve prasidati doesn't mean that one comes to sattva guna, but means one comes to shuddha sattva. It means that one's completely unaffected by the modes of material nature. And in that state, one's devotional service is unbreakable and it's uninterrupted. And it also begins to manifest spontaneously, spontaneous attraction to hearing. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the system through which anyone from any position can rise to that level. When he spoke to Ramananda Roy and asked him to describe the best of all processes, Ramananda Roy talked about varnashrama, then he talked about rejecting varnashrama, then he talked about the process of self-realization. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said these are all external. But then the first verse that Mahaprabhu accepted, Gyane prayasa mudapasya namanta eva jivanti san mukaritam bhavadiya vartam stane stita shuti gatam tanuvan manobir ye prayaso jita jito pyasitais trilokyam. And that is completely give up the process of understanding the Lord, trying to understand by your mental speculation, by your own endeavor even. Rather, dedicate yourself to hearing Krishna Katha. And from that process, worshiping the transcendental sound vibration that is the emanation from the hearts, the mouths of the pure devotees who are speaking from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and so forth. And stane stita shruti gatam tanuvan manobir. Tanuvan manobhi means with your body, your mind, tanuvan manobhi, in your words. You should worship the sound vibration, live in it, and absorb it. Should be your lifestyle, organized around this principle of hearing the transcendental vibration from pure devotees. Tanam rupa charitari sukirtananu smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyoja tishtan vraje tanaragi jananugami kalam nayeda kilamityupadesha saram. Rupa Goswami said same thing. By hearing, chanting, remembering, etc., then one will come to be established in one's position. Tishtan vraje. Vraje means in Vraja. You'll be tishtan. You'll have a standing there. You'll have a position there. You develop actually a status of, yes, this is actually a person who belongs here. And how does it all happen? Stane stita shrutigatam tanavan manobir. Shrutigatam tanavan manobir. Dedicating your body, mind, and words to hearing, submissive hearing, the transcendental sound vibration of the Bhagavat. Ye prayaso jita jito pyasitais trilokyam. Anyone can then become the controller of the Supreme Controller because he's controlled by love. He's tied by the ropes of love for somebody who listens to Bhagavatam with rapt attention. If somebody leans in and that's their motivation for waking up early, I want to hear more Bhagavatam, they hesitate to get entangled in other kinds of worldly activities because it will take away from their opportunity to hear about Krishna. Those who are trimming away the different aspects of their life so that they can be more dedicated to hearing, then gradually such people, they become the ones who can tie the Lord within their heart. It is confirmed also in the second verse of the Bhagavatam, in which Vyasadeva says that just by hearing the Bhagavatam, the Lord becomes reluctant to leave the heart of the devotee. And furthermore, in the 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 55th verse, Vrishujyati hridayam na yasya sakshat, that the Lord is directly within the heart. And that pranaya rashanaya dritangri padma, and he becomes tied by the ropes of love. And how does one establish that love? Just by hearing. Amazing, isn't it? Just by dedicating oneself to the process of hearing. It seems so simple, it's elusive that, okay, let me position myself so I can hear. And I heard Srila Prabhupada the other day say that you can learn anything by hearing. You just apply yourself to hearing. How else would you do it? Shruti is so powerful. And it's the pathway to the spiritual world and to developing full-blown love for God. Shrinvatam swa kata Krishna. If you just hear, Shrinvatam swa kata Krishna, punya shravana kirtana, you're doing yourself the highest good by hearing. Punya shravana kirtana, you're accumulating wealth by hearing. You become wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. Hridyantaksto hibadrani vidunoti suritsadam, and a relationship is formed with Krishna where he recognizes that you're hearing, you're interested, and he helps purify your heart, take away the anartas. It becomes evident too that he's doing it because we can't do it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said it's impossible. The living entity is save himself. Maya mugda jiren nahi swata Krishna gyan. Not swata. It's not automatic. You can't come out of it unless somebody from a higher level comes and pulls you out. Because we're entrapped. We can't help ourselves. We have to take help from a higher level. So when we take shelter of the Vaishnav and we hear and we take that vibration as our tanu van manobir, it's body, mind, soul, everything invested in that. That's my primary focus. Then gradually, we make advancement in devotional service. Nothing else needed, just add water. There's a lot of products you can get. They say all you have to do, just add water, and then you've got it. Nescafe, just add water, or whatever the thing, put water in and you're ready to go. Living entity comes out, just add Krishna Katha, that's all you need. And if you add that to your life, Jnane Prayasamura Pasyanamanta, completely give up all other hope for processes that you think you're going to position yourself well. And that's what Brahma is saying. And he came to a very solid conclusion after tinkering and testing and reading and studying and going to universities and getting PhDs at every Ivy League school. And then he said, forget it. It doesn't work. Stane stita shrutigatam. You have to sit and hear the Bhagavat, hear about the pastimes of the personality of Godhead and how he walks, what he talks, who he talks to. He comes into Mathura from Vrindavan with his friends and he drops off Akura, says, I'll see you later. Akura wants to stay with him, but Krishna's got his own agenda. Talking to Kubja, straightens her out, puts his lotus feet on her feet, then lifts her up, and she becomes straightened out. I'll see you later too. And then he walks through town, strutting like a little baby elephant, meets the washerman, says, hey, like those clothes, let's have some. Washerman says, these are for the king, little punk, get out of here. These are not meant for you. If you even say that again, I'm going to tell the king, he'll probably have you killed. So Krishna, his beautiful limbs, but then he angani yasya sakalindriya vrittimant, he can turn them into anything. He just swings, chops off the head of the washerman, and then he says, okay, boys, take what you want. All the coward boys are with him, Balaram, they just dress up. They take all the clothes. Hey, how's this? How's this one look? Pretty good. You're good. Let's go. Everyone tries to imitate these nowadays. They have some superhero who's so cool that walks into town, just takes everything. But everybody knows that doesn't happen. People try to be the super cool hero and come in, kill everybody, take all the stuff, but then there's a huge reaction. Only Krishna can move about the world and take what he wants because it all belongs to him. And if he kills somebody, that person gets liberated and benefited, and he can move around anywhere and everywhere. He walks but does not walk. He's moving, but it's not like ordinary people moving. And he's faster than anyone. Even the demigods can't catch up to him. Nobody can. Even the Muni Pungava, the best of munis can't catch him with their process of pranayama. Only the bhaktas can catch him by hearing and with devotion, leaning in and just being interested in it. Just be interested in it. That's all. That's the whole process. Be interested in Bhagavat and listen in. That's it. That's interesting. That's interesting. I want to hear more. Just keep hearing, and the sound vibration goes in. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this. That was the first step towards going to Goloka, to reviving our rasa, our actual relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, minus which Bhagavatam says, Yene ravindaksha vimuktamaninas tvayastabhavada vashuddha buddhaya aruya krishnena paramharam tatapa tantyato nadrita yushmarangraya. You try any other thing that doesn't involve your rasa awakening with Krishna, means that you fall in love with him, with his qualities, his pastimes, his features. You see his eyes. Like Akura, he couldn't stop meditating on his lotus hands when he was on the way to pick up Krishna in Vrindavan. He was thinking, oh, he'll touch me with his hands. Probably I'll go there and I'll bow down, and with his beautiful lotus palm, same palm, he was thinking that in the rasa dance, Krishna cleanses the faces of the gopis who are perspiring during dancing. He's gonna lay a guru scented hand upon my head. So he's meditating on his form, his beautiful hands. Yene ravindaksha vimuktimaninas. He has beautiful eyes. And the devotees, Kapila Dev says in the third canto of Bhagavatam, the devotees, even the neophytes, he said they're liberated because they come to the temple and they smell the incense and they see my beautiful form smiling. You go to Chicago, and right there in Rogers Park, you can walk in, and there's Radha Krishna, Shishi Kishore Kishori. And you can smell the incense, you can see the flowers, and you can see the beautiful form of Radha Krishna. Same form as is in Vrindavan. You can go to New York City, see Radha Govinda. You can go to Tokyo, see Radha Govinda. You can go to Sydney. You can go to Silicon Valley and see Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan. Pick any city in the world now. You can go see Radha and Krishna Vrindavan. That's how powerful Prabhupada was, his devotion, that he manifested everywhere. Due to his devotion, it externalized in kunjas. He created little kunjas all over the world. Nikunjayuno ratikeli siddhyai. Those are kunjas, those little altars. That's Radha Krishna in the kunj. And anybody can walk in off the street and say, there's Radha Krishna in the kunj. And then they can sit in here. And Bhagavad Gita, Sri Upanishad, all provided, spiritual world fully open to the whole world, to any living entity in a human form. Dogs can come too. It takes them maybe a little longer. But human being, just sitting here, find yourself a seat, get a place in that assembly where you can sit and hear with the devotees, and find a lifestyle so you can stay awake and listen, and just balance in your lifestyle so you can dedicate to the hearing process. Hear Hare Krishna. You say it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. You don't have to wait for some kirtan party to come to your house. You can sit there and just chant. Just sit by yourself and say Hare Krishna over and over and over and over again. And then you arrange to hear Bhagavat. And if there's nobody there, then pick up the book and read out loud and hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. And just by that process, then one's a rasa will awaken within the heart by associating and serving the Vaishnavas, by hearing the Bhagavat, and also the service that one does, especially by participating in the distribution of the holy name. Then it becomes, one opens one's heart wide by that process, and one can advance in devotional service. Om Tat Sat. Just checking the board to see if there are any reflections. Just now only. Well, look, Vaikuntha Nayaka Prabhu is on the board. He says here, I was aware that devotees do not aspire for Sayuja liberation, but it was mentioned in the verses that the devotees do not aspire even for the other types of liberation, including Salokya and Samipya. The question is, what do we aspire to go? What is that we do aspire to go back to God into the spiritual world? So isn't this same as Salokya or Samipya liberation, which the verses said the devotees do not aspire for? Could you please help understand this? Well, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood is in the Shikshashtakam. He says, Mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatad bhakti rahaitu ki tvai. He said, birth after birth, indicating that I just want to serve you birth after birth. That I didn't even want liberation. I just want to serve where you want me to serve. And Bhagavatam, Narayana Paraksarvena Kutashana Pibhyati, Swarga Pavarga Narakeshu Api Tulyarta Darshina. That wherever I am, heaven or hell, doesn't matter. Tulya, it's equal because I have service to your lotus feet. However, by the process of hearing and chanting and serving, there's a natural way in which one develops a particular desire, becomes more specific in one, because love means something specific. There's something you love about somebody. It's not without quality, and it's not without specificity. A hard word to say, specificity. There's a specific way in which you love Krishna. Every living entity has a specific desire to serve Krishna in a particular way. And that manifests gradually. But the devotee isn't insistent upon any particular, like, I want something better for myself. They're thinking, I want something better for Krishna. And then Krishna manifests the desire within the heart of the devotee. Rupa Goswami writes about this in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, to serve Krishna in a particular way, because Krishna wants the devotee to serve in that way, but the devotee thinks it's my desire. So when it naturally arises, when one's past anarta nivriti and is developing actual taste for serving Krishna, it begins to manifest in the specific way in which one wants to serve Krishna. And actually, the way it manifests is that one wants to serve a particular devotee of Krishna, because he or she admires more and more the particular mode of service of a devotee in Vraja. Tishtan vraje tananu ragi jananugami means one becomes enamored of the service of a particular servant of Krishna in the spiritual world, and then wants to hear more about that servant and starts to develop a taste for that kind of service, whether it's in Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. But it's not to be imitated, and we don't aim for that. And it's not that devotees like, I don't like this, I want to trade it in for something else. The process is described in the Brihat Bhagavatamrita, that every devotee feels that this is the perfect relationship, because it's extended to the devotee by Krishna himself. But the mood of the devotee is I'll serve Krishna anywhere, heaven, hell, wherever, as long as I'm connected to service. And you hear this again and again in the Bhagavatam. Just let me, wherever you decide, Krishna, I have no aspiration for liberation, nor do I expect it because I'm too fallen. But whatever you arrange, I'll take that. And then Vaikuntha Nayaka Prabhu has a reflection. He says, usually in the material world, we are always seeking pleasure. But here we see devotees like Daruka getting disturbed by the pleasure if it happens to obstruct their service of fanning the Lord. This was very inspiring to me. Yes, this is a very important point, because oftentimes there's a sense of oh yes, I'm enjoying my service very much. But when it gets in the way of serving Krishna, the devotees abhor that kind of whatever reaction they're feeling. They don't want that because it'll interrupt their service. Apar Gurangi, Devidasi says in the purport to Srinvatam Swakata Krishna, verse Srila Prabhupada writes, whenever, therefore, offenseless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of his transcendental sound. What is the meaning of offenseless hearing? If the process of hearing is so powerful and being one of the processes of Panchanga Bhakti can reawaken our love of Godhead, why do we need to chant Hare Krishna? Well, offenseless means that like there's 10 offenses in the chanting the holy name of the Lord, which are that one is not inclined to offend the devotees who are preaching the holy name. One doesn't equate demigods with Krishna. He sees them as parts and parcels of Krishna, but they're not the same. That person is not offensive towards the parampara, the representative, the guru, and sees the guru as a representative, and so doesn't neglect, and so forth. There are these 10 offenses. These form the standard or the base for the lifestyle and attitude of a devotee. Those are something that are universal. And when one is in such a mood and is very careful about the way he or she conducts him or herself, then one can hear offenselessly. And yes, the process of hearing is so powerful, and being one of the processes of Panchanga Bhakti can reawaken our love of God. Why do we need to chant Hare Krishna? Well, first of all, the hearing and chanting go together, because the natural result of hearing is that one chants. And as I mentioned also, when we chant, we also hear. It's simultaneous. And it is possible that there's only one process. If you just hear, yes, you can attain perfection. Or if you just chant, you can also attain perfection. Or if you just pray offenselessly, any of the 9 processes are effective. They're all transcendental in and of themselves. However, hearing is mentioned as the gateway, the beginning point through which we get the impetus to do all these other services, even chanting. And it's natural. If you hear, you want to chant, because kirtan means kirti. You want to expand the fame of the person you're hearing about. That's what kirtan means. And it naturally follows. Power phrase, just add water, the instant solution. Just add Krishna Katha to everything to feel connected. Yeah, that's a secret, because the mind, says Narada Muni in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavatam, is disturbed by topics that aren't related to Krishna. So if you move it from that into something else that's disconnected from service or from Krishna Katha, then you'll find that the mind becomes disturbed. So it's a It's a valid formula. Here's a question. What is the difference between serving Krishna to his pleasure and serving Krishna to remove our anartha? And how can we practice to build that consciousness to serve Krishna to his pleasure than giving pleasure to our senses? Well, if we're praying to Krishna to remove anarthas so that we can serve him more, then that's also in the realm of service. And how can we practice building that consciousness? By association with those devotees who have it. Is when we're in the association of those who have a serving attitude, we'll also develop it. That's why it's so important to fine-tune one's association. After staying in the ashram for a significant amount of years, focusing solely on hearing the transcendental sound vibration, most young men realize that they are not able to stay there for the rest of their lives. And then they develop desire to become materially and financially capable. How may one fulfill this desire without losing the absorption and still be engaged in Guru's mission? Really, by continuing. Stane stita shrutigatam tanuman monobir means stane stita, whatever position you're in, go on hearing. Every ashrama is valid. Most of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers were in Grihastha ashram. And, Srivasangam is famous. Srivas Prabhu had family members, and he went on hearing and chanting. And in some ways, it's edifying for somebody who goes through this varnashram process. Start off when you're young to develop, take austerities. One of the main ways that one gets aligned for instance, the brahmacharya ashram is to understand that I don't really need anything to be happy. I just need service and a place to lie down. No need to accumulate. I'm happy. And then in the middle or the second stage of life, as a grihastha, one learns the lesson that everything I have can be used in Krishna service. And it's actually the same thing, having nothing and using everything for Krishna. Anasaktasya vishayan yatarham upayunjita nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyamuchite prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna mumukshari parityago vairagyam palugukatyate. One should learn this art of using everything in Krishna's service. So one can learn that in the Grihastha ashrama. One can also learn how to cooperate and interact with the energies of the world while not touching them. This is one of the great lessons of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna never told Arjuna, you have to renounce everything, walk away from the battlefield and go out into the forest. He said, no, you have to learn to do your duty and in a detached way. He told him, be like the lotus. It's in the water, but it's not touched by the water. And learning that lesson in the Grihastha ashram, by going on hearing and chanting and doing your service, even as you're doing other things. Look at so many examples we see around the world and here at ISV. I mean, what examples we see here. I don't even know how you all do it all. You're raising family, you're doing all these nobody else in the world can do these jobs that you all do. It requires a special Pentium chip to figure out the stuff you all figure out how to do every single day as if it was nothing. And you work long hours, and then somehow or other you discover an extra 12, 24 hours within a 24-hour period to do service that is off the charts. I mean, that is a formula for success. And anyone who lives in that way, absorbed in service and Krishna consciousness, even while performing worldly duties, will not be bereft of the opportunity for pure devotional service. In fact, vidyam chayas tadvedo bayam saha avidyayam ratum tirtva vidyayam ratum ashnute, that juxtaposition of seeing, oh, look, I'm in the world, but I'm not touching it. It's a very powerful realization Then when you come out on the other side, when you get older, and automatically things start to change when you get older and mature, then you can enter into your Paramahamsa stage of life later on, having gone through everything. Of course, it's not necessary. You can also stay Naishtika Brahmachari and just say, I'm on this track. Why divert my attention in any way, shape, or form? But there's no harm either way if one stays immersed in bhakti and in hearing and chanting. It's such a powerful process. Okay.
Guru Maharaj, I had a thought to share.
Oh, please.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, today morning you were chanting and you were telling us how important it is that we stay in the process and also help others. But by the fact that we're chanting and we're improving ourselves, we're also helping others. And I was thinking about this idea of the Pied Piper and how, the material sound kind of creates this army of zombies walking straight on towards the cliff. And these devotees all around, when we go out to give books, it's such a nice thought that, you try to wake them up and say, hey, there's another road here. That one's down the cliff. But if you stare too long at them, you might join them. And I was thinking about that a lot, because during the pandemic, a lot of my friends are like, they're trying to find ways to keep themselves busy, completely non-spiritual ways to be busy, or make some more money, make a profit out of somebody else's difficulties. And I thought that if I spend too long looking at all this, I might also think, oh, that's a good idea. So we shouldn't stare too long at that zombie road. It causes a lot of trouble. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, don't stare at zombies. At least, Sankirtan is so powerful that we mix up with all kinds of people all over the world. And because our intention is to represent Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we had this discussion with Prabhupada actually in the 1970s, because some devotee started a rumor. He said that when you shake hands, we used to shake hands. Remember that? Shaking hands? Can anybody remember that back in history? That used to be part of our routine. We go up and shake hands with everybody. I mean, I must have shaken, hundreds of hands in O'Hare Airport every single day while I was working the airport, or every other airport I worked in, shake hands all day long. And anyway, there was this point that came up. Somebody said that we were taking their karma because we were going out and shaking so many people's hands. They say, I don't know who made it up, but they brought it to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, this is nonsense. Sankirtan is a transcendental activity. He said, you're moving in transcendence when you're going out for book distribution in Sankirtan. You're giving your association, you're not taking theirs. But your point is apt, Manjula Kanta. We can't consider ourselves liberated. We don't then become condescending. We also don't become lax and think like, I can just hang out. When we're there for service, however, we're insulated. We're protected by the internal potency. Mahatmanas tumam parta daivim prakritim ashrita. Ashrita means we have shelter under the Daivi Prakriti, and everyone can feel it. So we should be careful, but it's not a foregone conclusion that and I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm just saying this other rumor that came up in the 70s, Prabhupada dispatched of it very quickly and said, that's not right. Whoever made that up is a fool. But we shouldn't stare at the material energy and think, oh, no, look at that, look at there. Because jayato vishayam pum sam sangaste shupajayate, you stare long enough, and next night your mind goes down a rabbit hole. And, once it's down the rabbit hole, it's really hard to get back up again. So devotees are very careful not to get captivated by the material nature. Look at Ajamil. All he did was walk by and he saw some, scene embracing this and that, and he couldn't get it out of his mind. So, he dwelled on it, and sure enough, what Krishna described in the Bhagavad Gita came to pass. He got pulled down, so we should be careful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Ho.
Jai Ho. Hey, it's Bali Mardan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam.
Good to see you.
So I just like to thank you for giving your unlimited blessings on this reading the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I like the beautiful verses about Radharani and Vrindavan, pastor which is 219, I believe, the 14th text, which is very, very, it goes into my heart. We are doing Abhishek, and at the time, listening to this chanting, so it was really wonderful. I just would like to give my compliments to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bali Mardan Prabhu. That means a lot to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
David Vrata
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
were you about to say something? Or
Yes,
maybe
Guru.
it was
Yes,
three
Guru Maharaj.
people at once. Go ahead.
I was just I'm reading Brihad Bhagavatamrita right now, and I'm just reading how Narada Muni is going through, all these different subsections of the universe and meeting different devotees. And as he hears about different devotees' devotion, not only does he appreciate the devotees who are speaking to him, but he begins to appreciate other devotees as well. And it's bringing him to like higher and higher levels of the universe, but it doesn't necessarily negate the devotion of any of the devotees that he's meeting. Rather, he's just becoming ecstatic just because he's coming in contact with the process of devotional service. So I was just appreciating how by hearing, we appreciate where we're at, but we simultaneously appreciate where we get to go.
Nice realization. And that is one of the very important lessons taught by Sanatana Goswami in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita about how the process of bhakti is very natural and how each devotee is naturally inclined to his or her particular relationship with Krishna, and also the power of the mantra. Brihad Bhagavatamrita in the second part describes the journey of a devotee that goes all the way back to Goloka. I mean, where else are you going to read about that and what it's like in Goloka? Every time I've recited that section of Gopakumar actually coming to Goloka and then meeting Krishna, when I look up, there's always some tears coming, and it's not, forced. It's just a spontaneous thing because no one told us before about like Krishna is our best friend and he's there in Goloka. And the process to get there is through his name. Mantra means name. Mantra means we're taking shelter of the name. Every mantra in the Gayatri Mantra has some names in it. And it's the name that has the power of the Krishna's name. It's non-different from Krishna. And so we take shelter there, and then gradually the name takes us back home, back to Godhead. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna. Yes, please, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances to you, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. Hare
I
Krishna.
want to share, Hare Krishna, 2 points. I like so many, but I will share 2 points that really made me think so much that I like to read. And when you said 2 things, just be interested in hearing. You don't have to be pandit or smart or anything, and just add water, simple thing, and read and read Bhagavatam or Gita. And then other point I like that Dhyayato Vishyan Pausam Sloka Sangaste Supajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamat Kamat Krodho Vijayate. That one I really like, about association Sangha, and how should we be, how can we be living in a material world like a lotus flower in the water. I really like that. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thanks for sharing that. That Dhyayato Vishayam Pumsam, for those devotees who recognize that, you know what it is. Just a little explanation. Dhyayato means to meditate, to contemplate on something. And so Krishna is talking about a process. If you contemplate, you look at items in this world and you think, oh, I could actually enjoy that. I could control that. That could be mine. There's a sense in contemplation that there's something in this for me. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsam. So sangas, teshu upajayate means what will develop from that is a connection with it. It will become yours. And that's a problem. And I mentioned for the brahmacharis or for the grahastas, anybody who's practicing devotional service, we're protected by the service attitude, which is, this is not mine, it's Krishna's. With the contemplation is a mistaken idea that I can enjoy the world, I can enjoy this object, it'll make me happy, and therefore I'll take it. So dhyayato vishayam pumsam sangas teshu upajayate. Then from that develops the sanga. It becomes a limb on your body. You can't get it off you after that. And then you become more and more implicated by that connection to matter. So devotees don't touch matter because they're insulated by their serving spirit. And if you're somebody, if you take everything, you say, Krishna, this is for you. It's not mine. Devotees never claim proprietorship. They always say it belongs to Krishna. Bhuktaram yagatapasam. It's for Krishna's enjoyment. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, he owns it. Is this your house? Not my house. It's Gaura Nitai's house. Is this your car? Not my car. It belongs to the temple. I'm just using it. Don't touch it. Don't claim it. Don't say, yeah, this is mine. This is me. No, I'm just a servant. I'm just the messenger. I don't touch the world at all. This is the sense of that. And it's the only protection. Otherwise, we'll be slaughtered here in the material world. Everything will attach to us. And it's impossible to get out of this world unless we take shelter of Krishna. And the way to take shelter of Krishna is to become the servant of the servant and just say, I'm just serving here. Don't look at me. I'm just the servant. This is my position.
Guru Maharaj, can I ask a question in relation to this?
Sure.
What if we have like some type of project or a service that requires us to like have a sense of proprietorship in order for us? It seems like we need to have that mentality in order for it to move forward in a successful way. But simultaneously, we're trying to be detached from the project itself and understand that it's just Krishna doing it. I'm just trying to be the servant. How do we balance those two?
But it's the same principle. So what is Arjuna hearing from Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita? He hears, okay, you can kill people and there's no reaction. Why? Because your intention is different. If you could kill somebody, you could kill 1,000,000 people. And if your intention is in service, and I'm not probably gives a caveat to that. So Charles Manson used that from the Bhagavad Gita. See, I'm not responsible. You have to be authorized. Anything you use, any position you take, this is there in the talk that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta gives from the Vyasasana on his Vyasa Puja. He said, what am I? A big animal in a zoo garden sitting up here on this big seat while everyone else is praising me? And then he goes on with gusto to say that, no, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was given this order that wherever you go, whomever you meet, you preach and you become a guru. So he said, I'm following it and I don't care what anybody says because I'm serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and therefore the intention through which you exert yourself, like Prabhupada, he insisted everything, say, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And why? Someone might say, well, why are you taking credit? Why don't you just be the servant without a name out of service? Because if he didn't do that, we wouldn't have an institution, because the first thing that happens, and the second and the third thing is everyone claims proprietorship, just like in the Gaudiya Math. After Srila Bhaktisiddhanta left, that designation of founder Acharya didn't stick, and therefore the institution didn't hold. And therefore Prabhupada, out of service, put himself forward. Vaishnavas don't like to put themselves forward, but for guruship, for teaching, you have to get up and dance for the Lord and do what you're supposed to do. Prabhupada gave this example. The village girl, she's learning to dance from her teacher every day, practicing. Then the recital comes in 1 year. She gets on stage, the whole village comes, it fills up, everyone's waiting for her to dance. She gets on stage, she puts her sari over her head and says, I'm not moving. I'm going to be chaste. And then the teacher comes out and says, not now, now you dance. So when you're given a project, when you're given something, of course you take it in the right mood. That's why we emphasize teamwork so much. It's not my thing. I'm just a servant leader. Otherwise we can get implicated in that also. So at every step, we have to use what we're given in Krishna's service. And if it means exerting yourself, it means you get up and dance now, you have to do it. And that's your austerity. But you also have to keep the mood in your heart all the time that this isn't me doing it. I'm just an instrument. It's not my thing, not my idea. I'm just, I'm the help here. Somebody let me in accidentally, and I happen to be here amongst saints. And somehow or other, I've been given some opportunity to sweep the floor or do whatever. So don't claim proprietorship. But if it's for service and you have to put your name on it so that it holds together, then do that in with the right intention. And as Krishna says in Gita, even if a person kills somebody, if they're doing it with that mood, then the reaction isn't there. Okay, now I have a few points. I know it's getting late, but if you don't mind, I have just a few random points to share with you about having a great year in 2021. May I? Okay. If you need to have pancakes or something like that, feel free to have pancakes while watching. Oh, you can't. It's Ekadashi. Nobody's eating anyway, so we can go right ahead. Okay, here we go. Yeah, just a few thoughts about making the most of 2021. New year, and press the restart button. What can I do this year to make things a little bit better? So remember to take small steps daily and look for tipping points. Don't expect success to come right away. This is a poster I saw, and Anshu found it again on the internet. I saw this at the airport in Bangkok many years ago. It caught my attention. I trained 17 years to be an overnight success. And so in our chanting, in our hearing, stay in this small steps every day. Every day is another step. Every time I open a page, every time I distribute a book, every time I circumvent my ego for the sake of serving the devotees and so forth, this is a small step. Stay in this point, and tipping points will come. That's why there's stages. Adau shraddha tata sadhu sangata bhajana kriya tato narta nivriti sat tato nishtik. You will pass through a narta nivriti. You will come to the point of nishta. And from nishta, as you continue with your steps, same hearing and chanting, everything same, just keep going and keep doing daily, your steps, show up for it. And the tipping points will come gradually by Krishna's grace. So keep in the training, always in bhakti. What is a tipping point? It's a point at which a series of small changes or incidents become significant enough to cause a larger, more important change. So we move forward with these kind of tipping points in our life, but it requires that we stay connected. So don't worry about how small you think your activity is. The tipping point will come as you keep doing your little endeavor to the best of your ability. Sway adhikariyanishta saguna parikirtara. It's a good quality, Krishna says, if you just keep doing what you can do with what you have now. Don't worry somebody else looks more advanced than you are. Don't compare. It's fine. Krishna likes you just as much as he likes everybody else. And be patient. This is Rupa Goswami says, be patient. So stay in preparation mode. Always have an event to prepare for. Always look to the next thing. What is the next holy day you're preparing for, the next MSF you're preparing for, next class you're going to give. If you stay in this preparation mode, you're always getting ready to do some service, and you're in it, you'll notice that your whole life will fly by. And you'll end up looking down and you'll go like, oh my God, I'm in my 60s and, my whole life went by and all I was doing was preparing and doing the next service. And this is the way to get ready to go back to Godhead. Go slow to go fast. Whenever we're doing our practices, if we do them with articulation, slow enough to say or do what we're practicing with precision at the rate that we can do it, then we'll develop to a point where we'll become expert. That's how any skill is mastered, a little bit at a time and doing what you can handle at the speed you can handle it. And later you can do more and you can do it faster. You can do it better. Do what you can now at the speed that you can do it. I like this one the best. Dare to be bad. I got this from a discussion I had 3 years ago with Chaitanya Charana Prabhu. We were talking about writing. He's a prolific writer. So he had this advice that you see at the bottom. You can always edit a bad page, but you can never edit a blank page. Tendency is to think, oh, I'm no good. I can't do anything. There's a famous writer. His name's Seth Godin. And he says people come to him all the time, ask about, well, how can I also be a writer? And he says, and they say, well, I'm really bad writer. I can't write, they say. And he says, well, show me your bad stuff. Show me all the bad stuff you've written. He said, I don't have any bad stuff. He said, well, that's your problem then. Dare to be bad. Don't worry how bad you think you are, or the critic, inner critic tells you are. Just do your level best with what you have now. What, Manjula Kanta? You had that look on your face. No? Okay. All right. I'm coming back. Dare to be bad. This gives you permission to continue with whatever position you're in now. And as an example, like learning a language, if you don't dare to be bad when learning a language, you'll never learn it, because you learn by making mistakes and you can edit it later. But if you hold back, then it's really difficult to progress. Consistency is more important than quantity. In other words, find out what you can do every day with consistency and never let the trail go cold. Because sometimes you do a big amount and then stop, big amount, and then later pick it up way down the road. And when the trail goes cold, then you don't get the same effect as consistency. As Prabhupada used to say, drops a day wear the stone away. So find a consistent pace and stay at it. And revert to beginner's mind. Start over every day. I'm a novice. I'm just beginning. Approach each session or task with the wonderment and humility of a beginner. It's so refreshing. So I'm not the expert. I don't know anything. I live to be corrected. I'm starting over. And do your practice with that mood. And powerful upgrades for the new year. Pay attention. What a concept. Because focused attention is the doorway to memory, one task at a time. Don't try to do all the things all at once. Just do one thing with full attention. Try it in relationships, in hearing and chanting. Don't be distracted and see what happens if you stay fully focused. Make this one of your priorities for the new year. I mean, you could, if you like, to pay attention more and see what happens. If you do it in relationships, you'll be shocked. And so will the people around you. Wow, he or she just gave me full attention. What happened? What did I do wrong? What just happened here? You'll see it's electrifying, paying attention. Organize. Just looking at that drawer is satisfying, isn't it? Find one drawer in your house and go look at it. If anybody wants to show us one right now, you can. But if you clean out one drawer and get it completely organized, you'll feel so satisfied. A place for everything and everything in its place. Prabhupada, whenever he'd move from one location to the next, when they'd settle him in again in his room, the servant, the secretary would put everything exactly the way it was in the last place. Prabhupada knew where everything was at all times, and he kept it organized and uncluttered. So this is something to aspire for. When you declutter, you create a distraction-free environment. It's very potent.
So much. When we talk about doing one thing at a time, I remembered how a few years back, multitasking was a very big thing. Everybody was taught to multitask and try to do as much as possible, parallel zones. And then slowly we had people saying, that's not effective. You need to do one thing at a time. Why is it that even with science journals over my life, I used to read a lot of health journals. And I used to remember that in January, they would tell you, tomatoes are really good for you. You should eat a lot more of them. And then by December, they'd be like, they're really bad for you. You should stop eating them. And after a few years of that, I stopped reading the health magazines because it didn't make any sense anymore. Why is it that we as humans tend to keep doing this? We appreciate something and then do we overdo it and then not like it anymore? Why is it that these constant contrasts keep popping up?
One reason is because you try to do one size fits all for everybody. And human beings are complex, even in Ayurveda. It's not that the same diet's there for everyone, that this is it. And so everybody has different needs, interests, concerns, we're different mixtures of modes and so forth. And also because people may have some motives sometimes when presenting something, and they just oversimplify it to present it in a certain way. Like a lot of the trends that have happened in the world, like this thing about breakfast is the most important meal of the day, that was started by the Kellogg's company, and they make breakfast cereal. I wonder if they had any motive for saying that. You know, people sell something and they say, this is the most important thing, according to our studies. So look in to see who's presenting it. And, you know, life's complicated. You got to find your way through yourself, because find out what works best for you, be inventive to and look in and see how you can be balanced. Prabhupada talks about that in the 8th canto of the Bhagavatam, of find a way that's a natural environment for yourself. Everyone has different needs, interests, and concerns. So main point is stay alive in Krishna consciousness. Figure out how to do that.
Prabhu, I have one question as well. I was wondering, I'm a multitasker most of the time, except chanting and reading. There are only 2 times that I don't multitask. When I'm cooking, I'm listening to lecture or doing my service, calling people, getting things coordinated. If I'm driving, I'm listening to a lecture. If I'm talking to, if I'm cleaning, there's always something going on. It's never one thing, except while chanting and reading. So is that still okay? Or we should, I know I can listen to the entire lecture properly when I'm cleaning or cooking, but I still want something to go in. So I was wondering that if that kind of multitasking is okay.
Yeah, but just don't do it when you're talking to your husband or other people, because it's much more effective in relationships if you give full attention. Sometimes, anyway, just try it because it's really effective. If you listen to when in your car, that may be okay. But I'm just saying, as a principle, notice if you're paying attention or not, because you could be multitasking, thinking I'm listening and listening. Somebody said, even if you're sitting in class, I had this experience. I was in Los Angeles. Somebody gave a lecture. I was standing in the prasadam line. Someone said, that was an amazing class. I said, well, what points did you especially like? And I wasn't, just trying to put the person on the spot. And they said, I can't remember any of them. I don't remember anything they said. I just know it was a nice class. So, just notice if you're actually paying attention or not. And it's something when you're chanting japa too, just notice and see, am I actually paying attention or am I just chanting? Okay, I'm going back in there. I'm going back into the program now. I'm almost done. exercise and diet is very important for health. So make sure that you're getting enough exercise, because sitting is very bad for your health. And if you sit all day long and stare at a screen, you'll grow old early. All the processes in your body require exercise. So walking, this person doesn't look like she's walking, but walking is an excellent exercise. Prabhupada did it every day, vigorous walking, and measure your progress. You can measure your progress so that, your body's like a car. In ISKCON for years, there was this thing about cars where nobody took care of them, and they always blew up at some point because it was just like a temple car. It didn't belong to any particular person. So nobody changed the oil. That's the worst thing you can do for a car, not change the lubrication, and then it'll just grind down to a halt. So same thing with our bodies. So with a car, you keep a little record. Did you change the oil? Did you have a full checkup? Did you inflate the tires and stuff? Your body's a car. Please take care of it. Okay? Everyone say yes. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Take care of it.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Haribol.
Hari Hari. Present. Also, early detection of disease. One of the ways that people shorten their lives is nowadays there's some diagnostic checks you can get for checking on early disease. Like I know I have godbrothers who have died of colon cancer because they just didn't ever check on it. And it's a preventable death nowadays. There are a few major things like that. I know it's controversial sometimes with people. They think that don't ever go to see a doctor or whatever, but Prabhupada didn't want to be in a hospital and stuff like that, but he did endorse doing what you can to take care of yourself, at least on a macro level. And so be careful to just do the things that you can do to make sure you prevent something from catching you early. Colon cancer is a big one. There are other kinds too, that if they sneak up on you and it's too late, then you miss the opportunity. So watch out. Also financially, there are all kinds of little things to put in place, like healthcare power of attorney. Healthcare power of attorney, who's in charge if you go down? A financial power of attorney, who's the next in line? You got to sign papers to make sure, otherwise it's a mess for everybody else to pick up. A living will organ donation authorization, either say yes or no, but make sure it's clear. Revocable living trust, make sure you can pass on your assets, whatever they may be, house and equities and things like that, to it stays in a trust, so there's not a will. With a will, you lose about a third of your estate in probate court. So don't make these mistakes by being negligent. It's not Krishna conscious. Prabhupada was careful to cross all T's and dot all I's and make sure everything was in place. There's also if you have proper insurance, I'm not selling any, so I'm not motivated here. Do not resuscitate. This is a DNR. It means like if you get incapacitated where your brain doesn't work, and then you could be on a tube, for the next 50 years. You can put an order in there. You have to articulate it and sign it. Do not resuscitate if I go down. These are standard boilerplate things that everybody should have in place financially and as far as your health goes, so that it doesn't put a burden on your family or on the rest of the community. I'm just saying it's important. Don't neglect it because you're in the transcendental realm. Emergency planning is important also. Earthquakes happen. We should have actually a department here at ISV where we have an emergency plan, and devotees have certain kinds of things ready for these types of things. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So think about it early. There's certain things to do about that. Plan ahead for your sadhana. You're reading japa prayers, pancharatra services. plan ahead and re-look at your goals and see how you can increase this year. Just don't cruise into the new year and think I'll just do the way I've always been doing, but fine tune it and see what you can do a little bit better, how you can be more consistent and have better quality, maybe even more quantity if possible. Relationships are very, very important in our lives and in our devotional lives. Dadati pratigunati kuyamakyati prichati. Take responsibility for your relationships by giving full attention, at least at intervals. It's an investment that is most important. Take breaks with people that are important to you, so you have exclusive time with them to communicate and deliberately communicate. Don't do it haphazardly. And try to live to be corrected. You'll be the most popular person on the block if you do that. How do you like the throwback picture? You can thank Anshu. He's the mastermind behind these slides. What?
Good one. Very good.
Very good. Very good. Difficult things become easy when you remember Lord Chaitanya. Remember Lord Chaitanya. Pray to Lord Chaitanya. Start your meetings with prayers to Lord Chaitanya. Start your japa by praying to Lord Chaitanya. Start your sankirtan, whatever you do. Always remember Lord Chaitanya. He's our only shelter and he's the most merciful. So it's our prerogative. We can, if we want to remember God, we can. Just put your heart and soul into it and do it all the time. And remember Lord Chaitanya, and difficult things become easy when you do that. And the opposite is true also. You forget him, then the whole world comes crashing in on you. So keep those prayers constantly going. And we'll finally, just in any of these points, let's just see if there's any questions or reflections. Anything that you heard that's stuck.
I really felt like I attended a life seminar, like how to live a life in this material world from all perspectives, not only spiritual. Thank you, Prabhu, for giving us this insight as like how to live as a whole devotee and not see like uncertain circumstances and then have a big setback, both materially, physically, and spiritually, because it affects us in every sphere if something happens. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for that reflection. That's really heartening.
So what is the resuscitate means, Prabhuji? I didn't get that.
When you, there are circumstances where they'll have a stroke or, heart attack or whatever, and then they become incapacitated. Like sometimes the brain goes dead, but the body keeps working because they, like at a hospital, they keep you alive. If you go to emergency, and they're not going to just let you drop dead. Of course, if you do it during COVID, maybe they will. But generally, they'll put you on a breathing machine, and then they can even put a feeding tube down into you so that your body goes on, but your brain's dead. And there's a point at which everybody has to make a decision. And that means resuscitation means bringing you back or trying to bring you back from that position, or letting you hold on, because you might come back in 10 years, 20 years, who knows? So if you don't want to be in that position in a vegetative state and leave it to everybody else to fight over it, and a lot of people often do, there's fights in the family, resuscitate, do not resuscitate. And unless you sign a DNR, do not resuscitate, saying, I don't want to be, I don't want heroic measures to bring me back when my brain's dead. Then it becomes very difficult. So you have that piece of paper, and then everybody knows where it is in the safe, or you have it available, signed. So you can bring it out and present it to the doctors and say, you have to pull the tubes out and let the person naturally die.
So what is the best practices for devotee to opt for it or opt it out?
Well, it's up to you, I personally have a DNR that says do not resuscitate, because I don't want to be in a vegetative state and keep everybody, sitting around in a distress financially or emotionally or whatever, when things have gone past a reasonable doubt that, the person that I could be brought back. So I signed a DNR to not be resuscitated, just to avoid ambiguity.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
I'd just like to share, Maharaj, that about this DNR. When my mom was sick, and there was a point in time where it was that should we put her on an oxygen cylinder? And my brother, who's a doctor, he asked all of us siblings to, make a decision. And he talked about the financial aspects also of that. It's a very expensive thing. And then he also said that at some point in time, we'll again have to take the decision to pull the tubes or the pipes. And it was a heart-wrenching thing for me to, say yes or no. So it's better that, we don't put our near and dear ones through that decision-making process, and we just give that. So
Thank you, Shraddha. Practical real life experience. These things are real, and it's part of being a devotee is you take care of all these situations so that everybody else doesn't have to be in anxiety. It's Brahminical. I mean, I know Brahmins wear some jewel or gold or something like that. So if they die in a foreign place, there's some payment for the funeral. You don't stick it to somebody else. So we're responsible for what happens after we leave our body behind, and don't leave a mess. Make sure everything's clean and all the papers are signed and the transfers are okay, so that, it's hard enough when somebody leaves the world for everyone to deal with it. But if you like, oh my God, Dad was in debt $300,000 and we got to pay for it, or, we don't know where anything is. Or there's, we have to go to a court and talk about who gets what. These things are very trying. And even when things are done properly, you still have to do a lot of work. So make sure that you leave as little work for everybody behind you as possible.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Vijay Damodar Das, Nirud Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I had a question. It's a classic question about financial security for retirement. So I know it goes against the grain of salt, the four regulative principle of no gambling, but it's inevitable when we do any job, especially in US and Bay Area, that we put our money in some kind of mutual fund, 401k, things like that. Now, where do we draw the line? Especially for single person earning in Bay Area, it's very difficult to kind of come up with some kind of retirement savings. So the only two obvious ways out are you spend more time and earn more money, which means your sadhana goes down, or you make money from the money that you already earned, which is also kind of contrary to the no gambling principle. So where do we draw the line? Any suggestions on that one?
Well, if you look at it logically, if you hold on to money, maybe if you put it in your mattress, like some cultures do, some cultures, they actually sew it into their jacket. Satyadev Prabhu said that there were a lot of injured people he'd find, and that the money was sewed in their clothes, because in those cultures they don't trust banks at all. But if you just hold on to cash, it's going to devalue over time anyway, and due to depreciation you're going to lose it. And so my advice is don't just be as best a steward of the assets that you have as possible. I mean, Prabhupada had bank accounts. He put them, he managed money. He made sure that there was a stipend for family members, even after he took sannyas. He provided for them. There's something going to family members from his BBT. So Jiva Goswami invented the will, practically, the legal device of the will. And so find the least speculative way, because the reason for that is it agitates your mind. If you start thinking that you get greedy and you start thinking like, how do I do more? And then, hang on a little longer. You're not thinking about chanting. You're thinking more about like, is it going to go up or down? So find the most stable place that you can, where you can also be a good steward of whatever asset you have. Mm-hmm. And there are some more secure ways than others. There are some ways that are much more speculative than others. I mean, just to give examples, if you bought, as an example, individual stocks and you doubled down on a particular stock, I know it's going to go up. Like, you don't know anything. Nobody does. Nobody can time a market or whatever. So if you get into that mentality, then you're really agitating your mind for what's going to happen. Whereas there are other kind of government bonds and all types of things like that. I'm not giving any specific financial advice, by the way. All I'm saying is there on a spectrum, there are some things that are less speculative than others. They're more of a sure thing. As much as anything is a sure thing in this world, there are more things that are considered stable. And so be careful with the assets that Krishna has given you. Now, I've seen some devotees who are able to successfully do that kind of thing through 401ks and then retire. And then, they're off doing a lot more service. So be wise, like you already are. I know you are. You plan things very carefully, and just don't get caught up in a whole big thing. Do what you have to do in order to be okay. There's a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. I always recommend it to devotees who are going to get married and become grihastas, because it has commonsensical ideas, just principles about how to take care of money. And it says, don't be an idiot, basically. And don't go for long shots and, I'm sure this is going to work out. You have to be very, very careful and conservative. It's not yours. It belongs to Krishna. And you need to do the best you can with it in order to take care of your family. Why did Rupa and Sanatan take a year to get unentangled? Because they were going through all these financial arrangements for everything before they took off. They didn't just walk out the door. So there's some consideration there from each person how to deal with these things.
Thank you.
I hope that helped without any specific,
It does actually. I over the last 10 years, I came up with many rules. I earlier used to invest my time a lot into stocks, and every year I would max out into getting the most loss. And then I figured out Krishna doesn't want me to go here. So I came up with different rules saying I won't go into the market before 12 p.m. because it ends at 1. And then I started reducing that time, or once in 15 days and once in 30 days. And finally, I boiled down to one particular solution I was very confident will work, which is unless the market tanks for a particular day, I will not go in. And I was very confident. And then COVID happened, and I knew that was the day and I need to jump in. And when I jumped in, I got very strong repulsions from inside. And then I got this thought that when I make money on these thousands of people who are dying, and then my whole strategy for the last 10 years just failed. And now I'm left nowhere. So I don't know what Krishna hasn't planned for me, but I don't know if I can go there. It's like burning hot fire. You have to go in, but you can't go in. And that's why I'm a little lost. But
well, that's one of the reasons that people, when they go through a period of life where they have to handle all these things, then they come to this conclusion. It's like, why am I dealing with all this stuff?
True.
And it's just like, no mas. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm just going to depend on Krishna for everything. And but like I said, Prabhupada ran a movement, so he had experience in these things, and he was very, very careful about every penny, whatever was recorded, and he wanted everybody else to be also be careful about these things. And he signed contracts. He made he dealt with all kinds of legal implements and instruments in order to manage a big society. So you have, at ISV, we have this model, everyone's sort of independent. And so you have to manage your own thing carefully. So it's a good idea, because we're all for one and one for all here. And it's a good idea if we're all careful on our own to take care of what we have. And also, jumping in and jumping out of markets is a lot of jumping. Try not to, get into that. That's the speculative thing, is like, if I do this, that, find the way that's least agitating to the mind and the safest way to protect whatever assets you have, and then stick with that. And don't worry. Krishna, in the end, if you're just conservative and you're careful and you go on chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna takes care of all these things. Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana paripasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshema mahamyaham. Deal with it as much as you have to, and depend on Krishna for the result.
Thank you.
And
Maharaj.
also, this is called due diligence. It's there in nonprofit organizations. When you're managing a nonprofit, you have to do your due diligence. You have to know what you're doing, make sure that you do the stuff that you can do, and always do your due diligence, but don't get overheated and absorbed in it, and don't get greedy. Just be careful and take whatever Krishna gives after that.
Sure.
Om Tat Sat.
Thanks a lot, Maharaj. That was very helpful. And I can
Okay.
end with that term that you mentioned, we are all independent. Maybe ISV can also be termed as Independent Sadhus or Vrindavan, ISV. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare
That's
Krishna,
it.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. I'll end after this. Go ahead, please.
It was wonderful. This was like very practical knowledge you just gave right now, which was like very helpful, I would say. It's not just spiritually, but it helps in both the ways. I would just like to end like, this is like practically I've seen my dad, he got in like when we were just talking about colon cancer, he was just diagnosed. And that time we didn't knew. He was pretty young, like 58. Not even 58, 56. And so he did not plan anything kind of things and we were having a big joint business. So he just took a time before getting a surgery done that we didn't knew how the surgery is going to go. So he just took a time, he finished all his paperwork before going into the surgery. So that really gives us that, no, we need to plan quite ahead. We don't know when the things are going to go bad.
Yeah, that's true. And I've seen others do that, and I always appreciated it that they took the care to get their paperwork, get all their lives in order. You just don't assume nothing's going to happen. Assume something's going to happen, and be careful and prepare for these types of things. Not over prepare. Don't become neurotic about it, but do due diligence on all levels of life. It's Brahminical to be careful and to be organized financially, health-wise. Get as much information as you can. And as far as colon cancer goes, there's a certain age that you're supposed to get a colonoscopy on some regular basis. So because you can't feel it when it's too late. Then it's like, you never went and got a colonoscopy and then you don't know. So there's things like that if you just get on a regular schedule, then at least you're doing your due diligence as far as your physical body goes. So you don't like, it's a big surprise to everybody.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Kumar Prabhu, is this sitting okay with the two of you over there?
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, I wanted to just thank you because over the years, you have given us this very practical advice, and that has really helped me. Since 2013, you gave this advice. And from that time, every year, I have this record of the financial plans, professional plans, sadhana plans, reading, and everything is recorded. That is inspiration I just got from you, Prabhuji. And so I'm very, very grateful to you for this amazing practical things of life. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. That means so much to me. All right. I've taken a lot of your time, and this is a good time of year. It's a liminal space we have here. It's after the intense marathon, and what a year we all had together. What a victory. This just reinforced our feeling that we've always had, that Lord Chaitanya is taking care of us. And don't you all feel like that? I mean, it's like an amazing year that we all got through together. And now we're coming up in the next year, a lot of things changing in the world. And, we're looking forward to 2021. So now's a good time to sort of, take stock. I recommend a legal pad. Get one of these. It's got extra space on it. And, just think about what your life is like. Think about the way you want it to be. What are your spiritual aspirations, and write them down. Write everything down and be really conscious of what you're going for. The more detail you can put into it, the more your mind will be drawn in that direction and not splayed in every other direction. and be deliberate about what you can do. That's the good thing about being a human. You can decide what you want and then go for it. Other animals and stuff, beavers, they can just build a dam and maybe go upriver a little further, but not much more than that. Okay, so now now we have some announcements briefly for the Sankirtan and also for Bhakti community, which is sweeping the world. Oh my God. Okay, go ahead, Malini.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All Guru Prabhupada.
Thank you.
Prabhu, we have our MSF offering tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. after the Sunday class. And we are still inching towards our goals. We are still trying to calculate. Sri Gopal Prabhu has been calculating the scores for past few days. So if there's any unreported scores, you can report it. And also today we have another day today. We can still distribute books, go out, and it will still be included in the offering tomorrow. So we have our calling party, Prabhu, as usual, and devotees are still going out. This is the announcement we have for today.
Fantastic. It seems like a really good day for it also. And like right before the last offering, you can still get it in there. Thank you very much, Malini.
Thank you.
And Maharaj, today is also a especially good day because it's Kushangi Mataji's birthday.
Now, I was going to announce that right before Prashadam, but.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
So we can all sing together. Go ahead, Jai Madhava Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances, all Guru Shishra Prabhupada. I will quickly give overview of Bhakti community and some of the new things which we have made progress on this week. So as you know, Bhakti community is an online community primarily focused on sharing Krishna consciousness in a simplified way for newcomers. So I'll share my screen, quickly show some slides if that's okay. So we do have programs throughout the week, Monday to Sunday, Bhakti on and spiritual fitness sadhana on. We are planning to start Bhakti Circle soon. Women's Circle, mantra music, as well as courses. So whenever you come in contact with a newcomer, either giving books or maybe just you come in contact with any family, friends, please do share Bhakti community with them so that they can make progress in Bhakti. We do have stickers as well as bookmarks for Bhakti community, so you can contact Tarun Prabhu or Venudari Prabhu, or contact Vrunda Mataji. She has been very helpful in sharing Bhakti community bookmarks and stickers with everyone. So it can be given to you so that you can hand out. In addition to that, we had some good success stories this week, primarily in bringing newcomers. So if Krishna Prabhu is on the call, I would request if Krishna Prabhu can share the success stories as well as how he uses the new widget we have for getting more and more people on board. So maybe Kautukarna Prabhu, if he can be made as he can be pinned, and if you can, yeah, Krishna Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanut Brahm, Jishta Prabhupada. Thank you so much for giving this Bhakti community and putting so much of tremendous effort in this. So yeah, many newcomers joined. Actually, we go out and we tell them, I use this line that we have online meditation classes, and a person who gives the classes is a monk from 50 years, and they go like, you got to be kidding me. And they really like that. And I say, if you will join, you will definitely feel some spiritual vibes coming. And and then it's not like in one day they join. It's like messaging and asking them, like first thanking them to first taking their contacts, the persons who are interested, and taking their I personally prefer phone contacts. So I just asked them if they were who are more spiritual. If I asked if they would like to share their contact, and then after coming back, I thanked them for taking the meditation books, and then I say what I said, before, that if you like to join, I can add you to the invitation list. And they are very happy to join. I previously tried to send the forms and websites, but it was not successful. So I ask if they like, they can share the email and I can add. I remind them on when it is started, before that at 5 or on the in morning, and they join. So like, two cases I wanted to share is, one is of um, you know Mataji, Sophie. So she I met her at Walmart, Union City, 1 month ago, like on November 29, and I said thank you so much, and she wanted Chinese Mandarin Bhagavad Gita, so we shipped it to her. And then I messaged, here's what I messaged: hey, Sophie, good morning. um, she received the book and she said thanks, and then I said, hey Sophie, good morning, you are most welcome. I'm really happy to see your eagerness to learn Bhagavad Gita. As you know, it is a 5,000 year old text, so we have online Bhagavad Gita classes 2 times a week for 45 minutes. The one who gives the classes, he's a monk and practicing Bhakti Yoga and Bhagavad Gita from 50 years. Would you like to join? And she said she would be very happy to join. She shared the email, and after she joined, here's what she said: hi Krishna, I liked it very much. I feel like we are a big family. Everybody shared knowledge and I learned from that guru. It's really a good experience. Thank you very much. And yeah, so they really like it, and they say, that definitely they are going to join more and more, because it is really helpful for them. And one other was um, Irene. She I met her at San Leandro Walmart, and she I at that time only I shared, that we have these online meditation classes, and we have a monk who is, we have a person who gives the classes. He's a monk from 50 years. And, when I told her, thank you for accepting, she just, jumped on, please let me know when you are doing a Zoom meeting. She directly asked from herself only. And she shared the email. And as in the Bhakti community, you can refer someone, you can check that tick box that I am referring to the other person. And yeah, so it is really helpful. And yeah, so then she messaged that thank you so much, she will be back on the next session, like 8th was there. After the session, I thanked them that for joining, and if they want to share something. And she said, I'm so excited to become part of this community. And about Sergio, we all know. And um, other was my colleague at Walmart lives, Anil. He really liked it. Yesterday he joined and he was like, he said, I felt relaxed and thank you so much for sharing. And he said, I mean, for this long time I was not joining, but now I know what I missed. And I will surely again looking for more sessions. It is really helpful. Yeah. And one more is I met one Mataji. She's Gujarati at Walmart Mountain View. She's also joining, and she's also really grateful for these classes, which it is really helpful for the newcomers. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for all.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. We had very good success this week. All 4 of them, as you had predicted, they all joined the classes and they participated. They all had their stories to share, reflection, questions. It was good participation. And also thank you for following up. I really liked that after the class you followed up and they gave positive feedback, and you're staying in touch with them for the next class, just encouraging them. We have a next class and making sure they come back on. So I just had one request, Prabhu, if we have 2 minutes. Can you show how when you get a contact and you are requesting them to join, can you quickly share what you do? Like, what do you do when you get an email address of somebody? What do you do? you can quickly share. Yeah.
It's not like, it's like in one day thing. Sophie Mataji, I met her at Walmart University. It was like on November 29th I met her, and in this first week of Jan she joined. So it's like continuous process. On the New Year day I messaged, all my these contacts I took Happy New Year, and they replied, and then so when I get the contact, I say this, when I meet personally, I say this line which I said, that we have a person who gives the classes. He's a monk from 50 years, and when you will join, you will definitely get some spiritual vibes, and their mind blew, that wow, 50 years. So that is really. And Irene personally asked me for Zoom meetings, and others also, like I messaged at that time also. And there are other people still in touch with. They are going to join in next coming classes.
Nice. But I wanted to, if you can share the screen and show the form, how you fill up, if it's possible, just so that others know what you do, to make sure people can, join the community and take advantage of that.
Yeah. So when they share the email, so when you share it, I previously used to share the form and the website, but it was not that much helpful because they used to get lost. And thank you so much. You are always available, and you are always changing. You are always available and ready to take feedback always, and you are always.
So Krishna, what you are doing is you went to the sign up section. If you just scroll up, and like in the sign up section which is there, you select without donation tab.
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yes, bro. And then I just write their name and their email address and referred by me. And then here is say, if you are referring your friend, have you received his or her content?
Consent.
Consent to refer as per Bhakti community terms and privacy policy. I said yes, because they agree that they want to join and they want to get added to the invitation list. And as I know, you sent the email that if you can share that, bro. And then subscribe.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. So as you can see, we have a new section where you can go and even register your contacts if you wish, and automatically it will send them an email thanking them for signing up for Bhakti community, and they can join Facebook. And that way, that is the process Krishna Prabhu has been following to encourage people to join in, and we have very good success story. And one question, Prabhu, thanks for all the effort you're putting in, and they all joined. The question I had was, when they joined the Bhakti on and Sadhana on class, and on that day, if you were not there in the class, what would have happened?
Then I introduce them also. They will not feel connected, that okay, this guy is telling me to join, but he is not joining by himself. And it's not like you have to join. Every, like today Maharaj gave that slides. He gives it every day in Bhakti community. Radha Kripa Prabhu joins, who is so we need to be there to introduce them, or to be like, if they are coming, then they see. If we are not there, then they will feel they will not join for next time. That okay,
Yes, that was very important. So I really wanted to thank you that you were there. Krishna Prabhu very nicely welcomed them, introduced them to the group, and they were happy because they are being introduced. And then they also participated in the asking question, reflection. And as you can see, he's so systematic and caring that after the class, he follows up, checks in, how did he find it, and he reminds next classes. And because of his effort, we have seen dramatic change in how the sort of experience we want to provide to members of Bhakti community and what they are doing. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for doing everything that you're doing. It has been amazing.
Yeah.
So those are the updates for this week on Bhakti community.
Their ashram should get a special award for, reaching out and changing so many people's lives here, there, and everywhere. It's the most prolific ashram. And this very personal way, Krishna and Kotakarnava, that all of you are bringing new people in. This is the life of the Sankirtan movement. And I'd just like to add that we need them as much as they need us. In other words, we need to feel the presence of people who are experiencing Krishna consciousness for the first time in order for us to stay vital. It's the essence. And it takes the personal care, the kind of care that we just heard that Krishna is taking to see people into the culture and get them established. They have to feel a friendship with somebody personally. So feel free, everybody, to extend yourself in that way. Take the time that it takes. We have the facility, and we're in the testing stage of it right now. So test out the system and see how it works. Does that sound reasonable? Okay.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. We at Vaisesika Sankirtan team was always, worried like how to follow up. So many people are looking, but how to get them connected. Thank you so much for bringing this community and putting so much tremendous effort, and it is really helpful for me also. It gives so much. It has so nice teachings that I can apply very practical way. I can see. So yeah, I'm really grateful. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
It's one of the great blessings that's come out of the COVID pandemic, the rise of the Bhakti community. Now, I give my heartfelt appreciation to Krishangi Gopi, who has been one of the most outstanding servitors in the ISV community for many, many years. She keeps herself behind the scenes, but I can attest to the fact of observing the kind of service that she does, that it is the most meticulously done, the most expertly done, and it is voluminous. Mataji, we're so deeply appreciative. I can say personally that I'm so grateful to you and the service that you do and the way you've been doing it for so many years. Herculean is how I can describe it. Your services are Herculean. From the bottom of our hearts, we give you our deepest gratitude and pray that Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, and all the great devotees will just shower you with blessings, especially on this day of your birthday. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Krishangi Gopi Mataji ki jai. Hare Krishna. Speech?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to serve you under your guidance, and I'm ever grateful because I have no qualification, and all the devotees at ISV are so worshipable, and I'm really fortunate to be in this family, and ever grateful to you and to Nirukula Mother for unalloyed love and the care. We are existing because of you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. It's a paradox in devotional service that those with the most qualification say they have no qualification. What a lovely culture. Hare Krishna. Now we're going to sing beautiful prayers for prasadam, because some may be taking Ekadashi prasadam today. Sharirad Vijaja Jodindriya Ahika Jive Pele Vishaya Shagade Dharmate Trivayati Loba Muisu Durmati Take Jeta Katita Shamshare Krishna Bodho Doyamo Koribare Jikwaja Shaprashad Annadiloba Shayanamrita Pao Radha Krishna Gunagao Premidako Shri Chaitanya Nita Premidako Shri Chaitanya Nita Maharashare Govinde Nam Brahmani Vaishnave Sopa Punya Vatam Raja Nishraso Nagjayate Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanirasyo Pajayate Prasana Chaitaso Yasu Buddhi Parya Vajustate Tvayo Prabhukta Strakanda Asuram Kara Charchtaha Uchishta Bhujino Dasas Tavamayam Jayemahi Bhagavat Shri Mahaprasada Ki Goda Premanande Nitai Goda Haribo 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 Nitai Goda Haribo Shri Ekadashi Vrat Ki Jai Vanchakalpadrishya Kripasindave Vachapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Gaur Premanande Haribo. Can everyone unmute and please say Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.